welcome to My Voices Have Tourettes, and that's why I'm proud of who I am. My name is Dan Zerin, and let's get started here. So today's episode is brought to you by Gamesel Studio, where we are recording, The Secret Cellar, Iceland's first and only comedy club, and Smouty's Volcano Sauces, the greatest hot sauces I've ever had in my entire life. Today I am joined by a very, very dear friend of mine to talk about, it is Pride Month. So I have my very, very dear friend Stefnir Benediktsson here with me.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fantastic.
Good.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride, yeah.
I honestly, I love Pride, and I think the thing about Pride that I love so much is all the stuff that people like don't think about with it. Like they're like where they're just like, oh, why does there have to be gay pride? Why can't there be straight pride? Why can't you just celebrate being proud of who you are, regardless of a title?
Yeah.
Like you can still celebrate pride and be proud of who you are, but also support other people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I like those moments where it's just like, yeah, and no, I agree.
Yeah.
But now I kind of want to start this off. I wanted to do this episode about pride because, along with, we always talk about mental health, neurodiversity, and disability, of course.
Yeah.
And, of course there should be pride related to, just who you are in general.
Yeah.
And that is what I love about Pride Month is it really is a celebration of just being you.
Yeah.
And because I've realized that, I have Tourettic pride. I'm proud of being a Tourettic person.
Right.
But you and I also, we don't identify as straight.
No.
I identify as bisexual, and you identify as whoever's available.
Well, I'd like to say that I'm trisexual. I'll try anything once. But I sort of I'm fascinated by people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter what they, stow away in their underpants.
Well, I think, because I've been trying to figure out for years, like, what is it like? Because I know what attracts me to women.
Right.
Because whether people want to admit it, everyone has a type, even if it's a very broad type. Everyone has, what they're attracted to. And I know what I'm attracted to when it comes to women, but I've been trying to figure out what it is with men. And for me, I've noticed, like, not just men or women, like I kind of am attracted to the same thing. I really like personality.
Right.
I really gravitate towards someone who, I can have a conversation with, but like someone who can be my best friend, you know?
Yeah.
To me, that's more important than physical beauty or any of that stuff.
Yeah. So you might be a little demisexual.
Maybe. I think, because I wasn't sure if the term would be pansexual for a while because and I'm not like, and it's kind of weird, actually. Now that I think about it, it's kind of weird, like picking one, because it's kind of like saying, I'm just like revolted by, this gender. I'm not, I still, definitely love people of all genders, but I was thinking about, with me, I'm attracted to male and female, but at the same time, I've had thoughts of, if someone has a great personality and I really gravitate toward that, I don't really care what gender they are.
Right.
At the end of the day, I just want to be with someone I care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personality goes a long way.
Yeah. Now when you describe it as trisexual.
Yeah.
But because, one of the things that Pride celebrates is being open about who you are.
Yeah.
When did you start being open about your sexuality?
I never really actually came out, or because I was always out.
Right.
I never, I guess
there was no door on your closet.
No. It was just, it was one of those open closet situations. Yeah. Because, I'm sort of brought up in a way where, I was brought up to not be able to speak.
Yeah, right.
No, I was brought up in a way where it wasn't binary, and there wasn't a you have to get married and have kids. You need, do you have a girlfriend? Or I was never asked as a kid, do you have a girlfriend, by my parents or siblings?
Really?
No. And
so there was just never there was never a worry or a care.
No. And the first time I brought a boyfriend over to my parents' house, my dad was there, and he was old. He was born in 1927, right? Okay. So old school, right?
Yeah.
But still didn't have any prejudice or there was no shame in bringing home a boyfriend, because he just offered him coffee.
Yeah.
He was just like, hey, how are you? Would you like some coffee? There was no frown or nothing. So I felt supported from day one.
It's incredible. And I had the same support from my parents. I mean, my parents they've always been the type of parents where it's just like, as long as my child is happy. Yeah. The rest is fine. Which always makes me think, well, what if I became a serial killer and I enjoyed it? I would be happy, and they'd be like, well, of course there's some, exceptions. I don't know why I gave them that accent. But no, and my sister, when she came out as trans, my parents were so supportive because like, who doesn't want their kids to be happy, like, regardless? Exactly. Yeah. That's how it should be. But that's how it should be. Unfortunately, not everyone gets that. No. You hear these, absolutely horrendous stories of people being disowned by their parents because they, they're attracted to someone that their parents don't approve of.
Exactly.
It's atrocious.
It is. And my take on the whole be with the one you love thing is that, if I'm mad at you for who you want to love, it's like if we're in line for hot dogs and I'm furious because you want onions on yours.
Yeah.
What the fuck business of it is it of mine? You know what I mean?
To be fair, there are people that get furious about things like onions on
pineapple on pizza,
on hot dogs. Is that how you said it? Yeah, threw in the New Yorker there.
Yeah, you got to get a hot dog.
You can't just get a hot dog. You got to get a hot dog. Yeah. But it is a good analogy, because also with pineapple pizza, at the end of the day, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
If someone likes pineapple on pizza, it should be okay for them to eat pineapple on pizza.
Yeah. If you don't like it, don't eat it.
There are people that thoroughly enjoy pickles. I don't really like pickles.
Right.
But I'm not going to go to someone and be like, oh, I'm disgusted that you like pickles. I might say that it's a bit weird that pickles and ice cream is a thing. But at the same time, I'm not going to. Really weird. But at the same time, I'm not going to be like, don't eat that because I don't like it.
No.
No. People should just be happy with who they are. But of course, as we were mentioning earlier before we started this, self-love is a huge issue. But what I wanted to ask you, and it kind of relates to this self-love thing, because do you think Iceland has an effect on this stuff? Because I came out as,
in what sense?
So I came out as bisexual 2 years ago now. And you were actually one of the first people I talked to about that. Yeah. And when I came out, I was stunned. Yeah. Because I came out in Iceland, and like, I'd always been terrified in the States because it's the States, Yeah. You hear about, like, recently in Florida, they full on passed a law or a bill that bans transgender women and girls from participating in any sports in school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like a culture like that, being in a country like that.
Yeah.
Why would I ever want to come out in a place like that, just because of the fear of what would happen?
Yeah.
But when I came out in Iceland, I got nothing but love. Yeah. Not one person gave me a hard time. Not one person told me to be ashamed of who I was.
Right.
And, I think it's because there's this huge, to relate it to self-love, I find in Iceland, there's this huge gravitation towards self-love and finding it because Icelanders try to be really independent,
Yeah.
And they try not, I mean, a lot of them are very codependent, but they try to be as independent as possible.
Yeah.
And they really strive to be, powerful and love who they are.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if that's something that you've noticed, and if that, do you think that's had an effect on the fact that so many people in Iceland just are so open about who they are?
Well, it didn't always used to be like this. I mean, there was a lot of homophobia when I was a kid.
I mean, there probably is. Still.
Yeah, and there's still homophobia. Yeah, we're not perfect, but we are gradually working towards becoming open to anybody wanting to be whatever they want to be and being that,
Yeah.
And I think the whole pride thing, and I mean, it's a national holiday here.
Oh, yeah. I've almost never seen anything more celebrated than Pride in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Yeah, and I mean, people bring their kids, and the streets are packed with people.
Yeah.
And the Pride Parade is very long, and it has amazing floats, and people are, celebrating it as a national holiday. I mean,
yeah. I mean, but there is a lot of love in the community.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I came out, I remember a mutual friend of ours, Solveig. Her and her wife, right? They got married. Yeah,
I think they got married.
Chloe and Solveig. I remember when I came out, they contacted me right away, and they were like, "Dan, we've got this group on Facebook. Join. You meet other bisexual people, meet some pansexual people. Just we get this whole group together. It's all about just being who you are." And I joined, and what a loving group, first of all, and then it was like very shortly after. Or not terribly long after, everyone was starting to get ready for Pride. And I remember they came to me and they were just like, "Dan, have you ever walked in Pride before?" And I was like, "Well, no." And they're just like, "Join us. Don't even worry about it. Just walk with us. There's no stress. You don't have to go all out. You don't have to dress up. You don't have to put any makeup on. Just go walk in Pride, and at the very least support all of your friends and family."
Yeah.
And
I've done Pride walks in drag, full drag.
Oh, but holy crap! It's such a great experience.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's such a what's a freeing feeling.
Absolutely, yeah.
You walk in Pride, and it's just it doesn't matter what you're supporting. You're just supporting people being people.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Celebrating diversity.
You've walked in drag.
Yeah.
In heels.
Heels and everything.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that's a long walk. I can't imagine doing that in heels.
No. At the end of the night, when I took my shoes off, it took like an hour and a half to get feeling back in my toes.
Yeah, I've thought I could never. I don't think I would ever actually do drag, partly because of Tourette's. Because now when I say this, I would totally try it.
Yeah,
I would totally try it. And I would totally do it, several times and all that stuff. But I don't think I would actually be a drag performer because of the fact that putting on makeup would be a nightmare for me with all my tics. And also, but at the same time, it's I can't imagine wearing high heels. That's the only thing I've tried before. I've tried them.
Right.
And it's just the most unpleasant footwear I've ever worn in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, look, some look nice.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna.
And they do amazing things for your legs. Your legs look amazing.
I mean, hey, if some people like wearing high heels, eating onions on their hot dogs, eating pineapple on pizza, whatever boats their float is fine with me.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
You gave me a look like, wait, what? But
did a double take.
But you have done drag. And
first time I did full drag. Yeah. First time I did full drag was in the first culture night here in Reykjavik.
Yeah,
Menningarnótt, yeah.
Yeah.
And a bunch of us did, my boyfriend at the time, and some friends of ours did like a drag performance where we walked down Laugavur.
Okay.
And
The main street.
the main street in Reykjavik. Yeah, the main shopping street.
The only street, one might say.
Well, yeah.
There's others, but are there?
Not really. And there were fire breathers, and I mean it was a big hoopla, and I just fell in love with it. Although I'm a little lazy, so I'm always the bearded lady because I don't like shaving.
Hey, you told me earlier it pulls.
It pulls, man. Yeah, it sure does. Yeah.
Venomem. Oh, always the bearded lady, but she pulls. she pulls. Do you think I'm ready to kind of change this up a little bit to talk about mental health, neurodiversity, and such? Do you think being open about your sexual preference and all of that stuff, do you think that helped with being open about being bipolar or being autistic, or having so much anxiety that you almost don't make shows?
Yeah, well, I don't have a reference point because I've always been open about my sexuality.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is to be closeted, and I feel for people that are and have been.
That's a good point. I mean, because that's a thing that's always been talked about is, some people, like, even when people when it was a lot more threatening to people to be who they are. I mean, there were always people that, maybe never had to struggle, but because maybe they were in a loving community among all the hateful ones. But, when you hear these stories of like people being like, oh yeah, my parents beat me because I came out, as being gay, or, and that compared to someone else who's just like, oh, I never even had to tell them. They were just okay with it.
Yeah. I've got a story about a guy, when he came out to his parents, they were just like, yeah, we know. so there's all sorts of reactions, and another guy came out to his parents, and his wording of it was like, I kind of think that I'm gay. And their parents were just like, oh, you finally figured it out. So.
Well, I remember I wanted to talk about the fact that I remember when I came out, Bob, or before I came out, I talked to you about it because I was like, yeah, I mean, I've thought about I remember you, you kind of had this attitude of like, I was like talking about how, I've thought about this since I was a kid. And then you're just like, so you are. And I'm like, well, but the thing is, I always had that, but the thing is, because I was weirded out by it because I remember I had this thought I might be attracted to men when I was a little child. Right. But because of how society is, and especially in the States and especially the areas that I was in, I was always terrified to admit it. And I was always terrified to explore it or even, just even, get close to a man. It terrified me just because of what I thought might happen to me.
Sure.
And I remember, and I had that thought of how do you, if you've never, I've kissed men, but I've never, had a physical relationship with a man or anything, like that. And I remember I said to you, I was like, how do I know? Or what if someone says to me, well, you've never been with a man, so you can't be bisexual. And then you were like, well, how do you know you're straight before you're with someone? And it's a really good point. Yeah. How do people know that they're straight until they try being with someone? They just know.
You have to get a stamp of approval from another person. Hey, yeah, you did it. You're gay.
No, yeah. No. Well, because what is it asexual where people who, is that the one where people don't typically feel anything from sex? The act of sex?
I think asexual is where there's no, there's...
Because I'm still trying to learn,
I know, right? That's also a spectrum because you can be asexual where, you don't get like this lust feeling, and some asexuals, I know a woman who's I'd like to. She's maybe partly asexual.
Okay.
Because when she has a romantic relationship with someone, she'll get physically attracted to them, but not until she has a romantic relationship with them. So romance comes first, and then the physical attraction. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, and this is something I've always been kind of fascinated by this because it's like, what is? I mean, how do you find that determining factor? I mean, you're just attracted to who you're attracted to. And I mean, like, I was thinking about the thing of like, people saying, well, there's no such thing as bisexual. Well, then how can people be attracted to both men and women? I mean, if they find an attraction. And they and it's that, attraction of like, I want to be with this person, not just I find them, because you can be straight and find men attractive.
Sure.
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
But like when you have more of the attraction of like, I could be in a relationship with this person.
Yeah.
I could spend, nights with this person, have dinner with them, all of that stuff. Like there's an attraction beyond just beauty.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where you just know.
Yeah.
And how we were talking about with, conversion therapy, and then got ABA for autism and stuff like that, where it's just people going, oh, you don't fit into society, so we need to change you. And it's just
we
like,
need to fix you.
Okay, so they might fit into society, but they're not changing who they are.
No.
Because they're still going to be who they are.
It's suppression.
It is. It's totally suppression.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I mean, whenever you suppress such a strong part of who you really are, mental issues ensue.
Oh yeah, because you start. I mean, it goes beyond the self-love thing. I mean, then it goes to like not just self-love, but self-worth, and also just self-acceptance.
Yeah,
I mean, just accepting the fact that you're allowed to exist. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, and it causes so many issues.
Yeah.
And I mean, to get to, like bipolar autism, Tourettic pride and stuff like that. I mean, like that's why I wanted to do this episode, and I wanted to do it on this show, because this show, I mean, like if I didn't have Tourettic pride, I think it would be so weird for me doing a show called My Voices Have Tourette's, not getting rid of my tics from like in the editing and all of that stuff.
Right.
It'd be so weird.
Yeah.
And
it wouldn't make sense at all.
I mean, this is just all about being who we are. And now, like with I was wondering, because I kind of feel like both mental health / neurodiversity and disability and LGBTQ IA plus, like all of that kind of has like, we all have our stigmas that it's almost like people are just trying to put us all down.
Yeah.
For being different.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't fit the status quo.
Yeah.
Then you should be ashamed of who you are.
Yeah. And if you don't fit the majority, because I mean, it's always a matter of, who can be marginalized.
Right. And how can we put them down while still fitting in with society? Yeah. Like how can we be accepted by putting them down? I mean, you got full on, presidents mocking people, and you've got like the ban I was talking about earlier. I mean, people banning children for playing in sports. Yeah. Because of who they are. Yeah. I mean, what year is it? I feel like I'm in Jumanji, like I'm just getting out of Jumanji, and I'm like, what year is it? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, but I'm glad we did this show, because Pride has always been, I mean, it's my favorite time of year. Yeah. And it's a huge deal for me to maybe not always partake, but always be there and support the artists that are doing their bit, and go to the Pride parade. Yeah. Even if I'm just standing in the sidelines waving to the people on the floats, it's my favorite holiday.
Yeah.
How
do you feel about about like on social media seeing all of like the rainbow profile photos for Pride. Because I know people have, I mean, even people in the LGBTQ community have their like things they don't like about it. You know, and I'm wondering, what's your take?
Well, when individuals are doing it, you know, I don't feel offended or I don't think it's a bad thing. It's their way of trying to show support. Right. But when like corporations or businesses or something are doing it for publicity or monetary gain or whatever, that's where it crosses a line, you know.
But it's so hard to ever know why a corporation is doing it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, because I was talking to my girlfriend Alex today about the NFL. The NFL in the States, they changed their profile photo to have the rainbow flag in the logo.
All right.
And I mean, when I went online yesterday and saw it, like my first thought was, oh, these comments are going to be good, you know. And I went on, and I no joke, it was like, you know, normally it's like every 10 is a hateful one.
Yeah.
This was every single comment, and every 10th one was supportive.
Oh,
it was insanity, and it's since changed, of course.
Right.
You know, but I did notice a lot of them. Well, we're saying. I mean, you know, they're only doing this for money. No, you know, they're only doing this for promotion.
Right.
And it did kind of strike me. I was like, well, we'll never know. You know,
No.
I mean, because you want to think that they're doing it because they're saying that no matter who you are, if you're a fan of the NFL, we support you. You know, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to believe. But you know, of course, with some of these corporations, you got to think, well, you know, maybe they are just doing it for promotion.
Yeah, but I mean,
but is that necessarily a bad thing because they're still, you know, getting people to show support?
Yeah, but when it's in a genre like American football, which is very heteronormative and you know, I mean, to the point where it's almost chauvinistic, they might get a lot of backlash for doing this. So it's not really in their best interest, business-wise, to do it. So it's easier to sort of assume that they're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But when it's McDonald's, I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, especially if they were to do like a rainbow burger. You'd be like, okay, they're just trying to get some money.
Yeah.
Because no one makes a rainbow burger and goes, I'm just trying to raise awareness. Like, really? I mean, how'd you go about making that rainbow burger? Because that doesn't look healthy to me.
No, that's just food-like substance.
Yeah.
Did you see what Skittles did?
What did Skittles do?
They made a white bag with white Skittles in it because the other rainbow is the only one that's important, right? But they did call it White Pride.
Did they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I never heard about that.
That's kind of a big faux pas.
Or
that's at least what I saw, you know.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember if I said it in the beginning of this, but it's that whole thing of like people always going, where's straight pride? Well, first of all, every day of the year, you guys celebrate fucking straight pride.
Yeah.
I mean, every day, everyone who's straight is like, I'm proud to be straight. And it's like, all right, well, so we get 1 month. No, then where's straight pride? It's like, dude, what do you want? You know, but basically what they're saying is they don't want, you know, other preferences to exist.
Yeah.
You know, and I also
they only talk about this when Pride is going on.
And let's get real. I mean, there are so many people on this planet. If for 10 years straight, like if no one were to be straight for 10 straight years and there were no children for 10 straight years, the earth would not suffer.
No.
I mean, if we then had kids in 10 years, everything would be fine. Population would there would be no issue.
No.
I mean, this is such an ancient issue.
Yeah.
Of, no, we need to make sure that the population continues. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not just saying this as an ambivert, well, like with that introverted side of me being like, I don't like people.
Right.
But, at the same time, there's 7 billion people on the planet.
Right.
Why do we need more? Why? I mean, just to say that we can have more?
Yeah. And I mean, would you want for someone who's gay or to fake a life where they have kids with a gender that they're not attracted to, and they're unhappy all the time, and how is that going to affect raising the kids? And
it's also very unfair to their partner.
It's very unfair to their partner.
I mean, if someone knows that they're gay and they get married and they have kids, just because they have to.
Yeah.
Society
says so.
Yeah. It's not fair to their wife or husband or, whoever. It's not fair, because then what if they never tell them?
Yeah.
What if they just live their whole life in a lie, and then it gets to the point where they can't hold back anymore, and they're just like, no, you know what? I'm accepting who I am.
Yeah.
I want a divorce. And then how is that going to affect the kids?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
when you rather just have it all figured out from the beginning.
Yeah, if there wasn't such a stigma on it, and if we weren't shaped so narrowly by society,
right?
I mean, if we were just accepting all the time and taught kids that there are more ways to live a life than man, woman, marriage, kids, I don't think we'd have as many issues with people being closeted their entire life.
Also, we'd have less suicides.
Less suicides for sure.
We would definitely have less suicides.
For sure.
Because people would be accepting of who they are.
Yeah.
And actually, this raises an interesting question. The question of acceptance versus normalization. What's your take on that? Because this has actually been in the mental health community, and actually the neurodiverse community, I feel specifically. I've seen this a lot with autism. Because it used to be autism awareness.
Yeah.
Then it was autism normalization, and now it's autism acceptance.
Yeah.
And because there's this thing of like, do we actually want to normalize this stuff, or do we just want it accepted? Because I think we just want it accepted.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't need it to necessarily be normal, because who wants to be the same as every other person on the planet?
Here's my take on normal. I don't think normal exists.
I actually agree with you. Yeah.
I think normal is
everyone's different.
Is what's it called? Not a mirage, but it's not a mirage. It's
illusion.
Illusion. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. It's basically, it keeps us in line.
Yeah.
It keeps us in check. And if we have a frame to stay within, we're easier to control.
Yeah.
And I've never met anyone that's normal.
Okay. I've been wanting to, there's a topic I've been wanting to have with you.
Yeah.
Or I'd like to have this discussion with you.
Right.
For so long. Autism.
Yeah.
Would you call it a disorder?
Well,
because I'm actually starting to wonder. I mean, of course, I don't want to romanticize autism, because I know that there's a lot of autistic people that feel like it's being romanticized.
Yeah.
There are people who struggle. I mean, there are people that struggle, and some people have disabilities.
Yeah.
From it.
Yeah.
But then you see people, for example, that is it like, what part of it is actually the disorder, and what part of it is just like, now it's, I don't even know how to word this. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Well, give it a go, man.
I mean, because I like how you're like, I'm enjoying seeing you struggle. No, it is that question of like, because I've actually had this thought before of like, okay, take something like Tourette's syndrome. I mean, that's a disorder, that's a syndrome,
right? Because
we're doing things that our brain is telling us to do that it shouldn't be telling us to do.
Yeah,
like depression. Is when you feel like you get the symptoms of sadness with no actual sadness.
Yeah.
You feel like you're supposed to be sad when you're not actually sad.
Right.
and like things like that. It's like I see that as a disorder, and then I meet autistic people and I talk to them, and it's like the more I talk to them, the less I feel like there's anything wrong with them.
Right.
They're just different.
Yeah, a lot of people on the autism spectrum have like a societal disorder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because society isn't accepting and doesn't know how to deal with people with different, neurodiverse people. So we're like handicapped by society.
Yeah.
But of course, like you said before, it is a disorder for a lot of people that are suffering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, I'd say it's a disorder because you have to adjust to society, to normalcy. You can't just go about your business and not be considered weird, or
because of course I mean this in the most loving way possible.
Yeah,
you know that.
Absolutely, yeah. But there's also this thing where a lot of autistic people are intelligent.
Yeah.
So they're very good at compensating and have coping mechanisms that they've built up over the years that sort of help them. Well, it helped me seem normal.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really pull it off, but I'm close.
I mean, I've seen you have days where like, I can tell you feel a little bit weird in the mix, but look, I've gotten so used to being around you that I never notice like I actually rarely notice the autism side anymore.
Right.
I always just see you as Stefnir.
Yeah.
And it's like how Thought said that he rarely notices my tics anymore, and I'm like, okay. I'm gonna call Bull Twinkies on that one because you can't like I listen to these podcast episodes and like every other word is a squeak and I'm like,
sure.
Okay, I mean you notice, you just don't think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I was thinking like with hypersensitivity, for example, like that's something. I mean, like when Sam was on the podcast from Yo Sam De Sam. I mean, she was talking about the fact that some autistic people don't have hypersensitivity.
Absolutely.
While others have such hypersensitivity that the smallest of light change can vastly affect them.
And that little noise that the fluorescent light is making is driving me crazy.
Yeah.
And, refrigerator buzzing, air the ventilation systems anywhere, all these little, it's like static.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it feels like it's increasing in volume.
Yeah. And with now one thing I actually have not talked about much on this podcast. I talked about it in my 31 Days of Tics videos, but like I have sensory issues.
Right.
And I wouldn't say that I have hypersensitivity, but I do have a bit of a sensitivity issue. I wouldn't necessarily go as far as to maybe say it's a disorder, but there are some things that I am more sensitive to. Like I've noticed, I've become a lot more sensitive around certain volumes.
Okay.
So it's not like I know some people are listening and probably thinking, well, you're just getting old. I'm not at that age yet, but it's like I've noticed, like when I'm at a restaurant, for example, and the music is like slightly too loud. Like it doesn't even have to be loud, just slightly too loud. I actually feel like the place is caving in.
Yeah.
And I start getting very overwhelmed very quickly.
I get that.
And then like as soon as like a waiter or waitress walks past me, I start feeling, I can't be here. I seriously can't be in here. Like the other day, Alex and I went to get food and it was just, we were sandwiched in between a group of tourists that couldn't all sit at the same table. Right. So they were on opposite sides of us. And I felt weird and I didn't want to move because I was just so uncomfortable and overwhelmed by like the lighting in there and the sound in there. And then the waitress was like right next to me. And I was literally like my body was like caving in the whole time. And I mean, sensory sensitivity is no joke.
No.
It is no joke.
No.
Like I'll draw a joke about experiences, but it's actually like people are like, I've seen a lot of times like Tourette's is not a joke. And it's true. Tourette's itself is not a joke, but I will never stop joking about my experiences with it.
Right.
Because it helps me feel better.
Same thing with my autism.
Yeah.
I mean, being autistic might be hard, but the experiences that you have and just dealing with normies is hilarious.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But we were talking about pride, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the episode, Pride.
Yeah. Remember when I started doing my voices have Tourette's?
Yes.
I used to always do it in a dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. But we got, well, you mentioned that it might be construed that we were associating drag or transvestitism as a mental disorder.
It was so it was actually mostly the timing. Because I remember when we started this show, we started it in 2018, and I can't remember. Yeah, you joined in the end of 2018, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm like at that time, I don't remember if it was that like a bill had just passed, saying that basically drag was recognized as not being a mental disorder, or if there was just a big topic of people going, is it not?
Right.
But there were a lot of people saying it was.
Yeah.
And I remembered, like you would go on stage and you would wear the dress, and then we would talk about mental health, it just like dawned on me, like, I don't want people thinking that we're promoting that being being a disorder.
Yeah.
But, and I remember just like there was a click. And I was just like, you know what? Who fucking cares? Like, this show is about being who we are. It's about celebrating, us as individuals. It's about celebrating who we are and not putting ourselves down and going, you know what? We have struggled, but here's how I've been building myself back up.
And like I said to my kid, these aren't women's dresses. These are daddy dresses.
You still need to start a company called Daddy Dresses. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if anyone's listening in who's an investor, invest in daddy dresses. Let's do this. You heard it on my Voices of Tourette's, but and then I remember we talked, and I was just like, you know what, wear whatever you want to wear. Let's just celebrate who we are, because that's what this is about.
Yeah.
But because I felt terrible about it. I mean, like, ever since I asked you, like, to stop wearing the dress, like, I even remember while I was asking you, I was like, I hate myself for saying this.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a long talk about it.
Yeah.
And then in Sweden, you wore the dress, but I don't know if that was the manic episode or not.
Nah, it was because we were doing a festival for female or queer.
Right. Yes.
So I figured I'd be queer.
Yeah, because that year, Stockholm Fringe celebrated women and queer performers.
Yeah.
Which I thought was amazing. I love how there were a bunch of straight men that were just like, oh, this is discrimination. And I'm like, oh, is it? Really?
Right.
One goddamn year, a festival that's been running for ages decides to celebrate a group of people that are marginalized, and you call it discrimination. Wow,
Yeah.
And they're just like, what about us? What about us that want to perform? All right, well, okay, how many Fringe festivals are there? And how many years is this festival still going to be happening?
Yeah. Wait a year, do your show.
1 year. Go somewhere else this year. Don't go to but I want to go to Stockholm. All right, well, you go next year. Go support people.
Yeah. See the shows.
Yeah, see the shows. Open for someone. I don't know. I don't know. That might be a stretch, but but anyway, we're down to the end here. But before we go, Stefnir, thank you so much for joining me on this. I'm so glad we did this, because I really wanted to do something to celebrate Pride, and I am so excited to. I'm so proud to be bisexual Touretter. I really am.
Yeah.
I love how I posted that online, and one of my friends was just like, "That's got to be the most niche the thing I've ever seen in my life. Bisexual Tourette. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. It's fair. But before we go, you can find out more about Stefnir on Facebook at Stefnir Comedy. You can also find him on Instagram at Stefnir Benediktsson, the only Stefnir Benediktsson on the planet. I love saying that. It's such a cool marketing thing. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Dan Zerin Comedy. Stay tuned. I may actually be adding Dan Zerin music because I am working toward releasing a music album this year. So
cool.
And I'm thinking of differentiating my music from my comedy because I think it's weird posting guitar videos to a page called Dan Zerin Comedy and there not being comedy in it. A lot of people will go, I don't get it. Where's the joke?
Where's
the joke, man? But yeah, stay tuned. But now for the part that no one's been waiting for, the outro. So if you'd like to find out more information about the show, be sure to check out My Voices Have Tourettes on Facebook and Instagram. We also have MVHT Show on Twitter. We have MVHTshow.com. We also have a Facebook group called MVHT Podcast Discussion Group, where you can ask all the questions you want. You can share experiences, stories, all of these things. We can talk about pride if you guys want to talk about that. I'd love to talk about that. We'll talk about anything you want. It doesn't even have to be about mental health or neurodiversity. Let's just have conversations.
And if we got any of the definitions for sexuality or gender or anything wrong, I mean, let us know.
Yeah, because I like I said, I'm still learning. I know you're still learning with stuff. I haven't
gotten the terminology down or nothing.
I'm just trying to be as supportive as possible.
Yeah.
So I just want to learn as much as possible. So yes, please let us know. If you want to support this podcast has been brought to you by Games Studio, where we're recording the Secret Cellar, Iceland's first and only comedy club, and Smouty's Volcano Sauces, the greatest hot sauces in the world. But if you want to add more to the mix, find us on Patreon at patreon.com/MVHT show. And you can also check us out on all streaming services. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, any of that, review, do the 5 stars or the 1 stars, just review us. Just let us know what you think. Honestly, let's just hear it all. If you, and by the way, if you don't feel comfortable leaving a review, send us an email, info@mvhtshow.com. Send us a message. Tell us you hated us. Tell us that you think that we're, pieces of garbage, but at least you told us, because otherwise we have so much anxiety. We're just going to imagine what they're saying in our heads.
Yeah. We're going to
and that's
write
worse.
a play.
No, that's worse than just getting it,
Yeah.
But other than that, I think we've got to the end.
Yeah.
This has been absolutely a blast. Thank you all so much for listening, and check out new episodes every Tuesday. Coming up soon, episode 50.
Woohoo!